So Priest, we have the first card here, Fan Club. It is another location. We're getting a couple locations here. This one mana, and it's got 2 durability or 2 uses. Restore 3 health to all friendly characters. This one is not bad. It's only 2 uses, but it's super cheap. Like, you could play this at any point and get the use in there because 1 mana, you could squeeze that into like any turn. 3 health to all friendly characters. It heals your face. It heals some minions. We're going to talk about some cards that have like the overheal effect, and you'll likely get overheal with some of those at 3 health. But I think this just seems like decent value. I'm going to give it a 3.
Yeah, it's pretty good. I mean, Priest is losing a lot of healing. Light of the Naru's gone. Desperate Prayer is gone. They were just going to need this in decks to heal. And then also, like you said, they printed Overheal recently. So it'll definitely help with those because there's actually not that many things that synergize with Overheal. So I
Yeah.
definitely think this is going to be in most Priest decks. I think I will give it a 3.
All right. Okay. Then the next one, we have the weapon. We have Idol's Adoration. It's a 1 mana, 0 attack, 2 durability. Your hero power costs 0. After you use it, lose 1 durability. This one is interesting. Like, I guess as a priest, you're like cool if you're getting 0 mana hero powers, but do you really want to be running a 0 attack weapon in here to use hero powers for free? I don't know. It feels kind of odd to me. I'm just giving it a 2 because like maybe there's a deck that wants to use it, but I don't really like it.
Okay, I think it's actually really good in Shadow Priest. Getting the 0 cost deal to is pretty relevant compared to a heal. Like, the heal is definitely bad, but in Shadow Priest is actually
Yeah,
pretty solid.
I could see that. I guess, are you running this like with the Shadowcloth Needle too?
Um, Depends how many spells we still have. I don't know what's rotating. I've played like 0 Shadow Priest, so I don't know how many spells are in the deck.
Yeah,
Um,
fair.
yeah, I guess it depends, but no, I think this is pretty solid in that. I'd give it a 3. I don't think it's anything game breaking though.
All right. Well, I'm sticking with my 2 for Fringe because I think it kind of only just really goes into like that one deck then.
Sure.
All right. Moving on. Oh, Needle is rotating. That's right. Well, yeah. Okay,
Oh,
sure.
is it?
Then you definitely put that in. Oh, poor Needle. Goodbye.
Rip.
Yeah. So, Dreamboat is a 2 mana 1/2 Naga with Battlecry. Restore 3 health to all other friendly minions. Gain +1/+1 for each one overhealed. It's so hard to also, like, we've talked about some of these feel kind of hard to evaluate because we're going into a 4-set meta. There's things rotating. And also with some of these, like, Overheal is a completely new mechanic that we've never played with before. And I don't know how to evaluate some of these. I'm like, is Overheal going to be good or is it going to be terrible? I don't know. But I'm
Yeah.
not a fan of this one. Like, I mean, I guess you can get the battle cry and restore some health, but if you don't really overheal anything, it's kind of just a little body. But I don't know. I'm just going to give it a 2.
Yeah, I think this card sucks. I think some of the overheal stuff might be okay, but this is just not it. Like, you need to have minions, and then they have to be at a certain amount of health. I don't know. I don't really see how we're playing a deck that's not Shadow Priest. And like, are we running this in Shadow Priest? I don't think so. I will give it a
No.
1. Seems bad.
Yeah, I have debated between a 1 or a 2, but I'm like, I don't know, maybe maybe there's something, like, I don't know. Okay. Next one we have is Power Chord Synchronize. It's a 2 mana holy spell. Choose a minion, add a copy of it to your hand. Finale, give both +1/+2. This one is kind of interesting. I like that it just says choose a minion, so you could choose like your own minion or you could choose one of your opponent's minions, especially if either you don't play it for the finale or if you don't care about giving their minion additional stats, or if you purposely want to give your opponent's minion additional stats and then you're gonna like trade into it or kill it off or do something like that, because you could spend all your mana and then make your trades. So you could do something like that. I otherwise like I don't think this is necessarily something that you want to run in like every single priest deck. I'm sure there's some uses for it, but I'm kind of leaning at a 2 right now. I don't know exactly what wants to run it yet.
Yeah, I feel like this is just like definition of two. It's like Seance, which was a fringe card that was played occasionally. It's like get an extra impactful minion, and otherwise it's not that good. Um, and yeah, it's holy spell, so we can't run in Shadow Priest for any reason. Yeah, it just seems like meh. If we need an extra thing, sure, maybe we do. I'll give it a 2.
All right. Then we have Heartthrob. It's a 3 mana, 2/5 undead with Overheal. Summon a random minion with cost equal to the amount overhealed. I just this overheal mechanic, I just don't know. This one specifically, I feel like is terrible though because I don't know, like priest. I'm like, why do you care about summoning random minions? And if you're overhealing, how much are you overhealing for to be able to get a random minion? Like, unless there's some huge big like heal for 8 that you're gonna get a good minion from, you're probably just getting like a 2, 3, maybe a 4 cost random minion. And I'm like, why do you want that? I don't know. I give this a 1. I don't like it at all.
I think it's just weird that I think Overheal is just weird as a mechanic because like they just brought Benedictus back to the core set, so they want people to play Shadow Priest, but then in Shadow Priest you have no healing, so we can't run any Overheal cards in the deck. So it's just really weird because we're not playing a Tempo Priest that's not Shadow. So I just don't see how this card fits anywhere. I don't think it's that bad. Like if you just have like the location down and then click it on this on turn 3, you get this plus a 3 drop. And then if it sticks, you can just like start hero powering it to get more free things. I think it's kind of snowbally, but I just don't see a deck for it really. I'll give it a 2. I don't think it's terrible, but
Okay,
I
so
just don't understand the deck.
yeah, let me ask with the overheal.
Uh huh.
If this hasn't been damaged, and like you said, you like if you play this and then you use the
Hmm.
effect from the location to heal it, do you actually still get the overheal? Because you
Yeah,
technically didn't heal it. It wasn't
yeah.
damaged.
You don't have to heal it.
Okay. Well, that I guess that makes overheal slightly better then, because I was imagining it's like you have to have it damaged first, and that just feels way worse to me.
Yeah, it's just the amount that's healed past full health. So if it was at 4, you would get a 2 drop. If you was still at 5, it would become a 3. Yeah, I mean, I don't think the card's amazing.
Yeah.
Priest moment.
Hmm. All right. Noodle is asking one question: which boy band is this guy from?
He's from One Direction because One Direction's dead, and so is he.
Oh, good. Oh, burn. Uh,
Ugh.
I have no better. I can't top that answer. Oh my god. Oh, okay. Let's look at the next one. Love Everlasting. Here you go. This is the boy band that he's from. There it is. He's in there. Um okay, this is the 3 mana holy spell. It is the legendary spell. Your first spell each turn costs 2 less. Lasts until you don't play a spell on your turn. This one seems really cool. I like this one a lot. I'm giving this a 4. Like maybe that's overhyping it, but I think this is sweet. You can't play it in Shadow Priest, right? Because this is a
Mm.
holy spell. But you can play this, and I think for decks like potentially Control Priest or even the Svalna Priest, like you're going to be playing spells pretty much every time. There's just a lot of value, but we've seen other effects where the first thing, your first spell costing less or costing 0 or whatever has some value. So I like this one a lot.
Yeah, it's definitely good. I think it's a bit overhyped. I feel like it's not that relevant to make your spell cost 2 less every turn, especially in Priest. Like a lot of the time, you just have big board clears, and like I don't really care that much. And also, like, what if there's a turn where you just want to pass? Like, there's lots of turns in Control Priest where like you just pass. You like heal pass. And like you're forced to just jam a spell just to keep this going. It's kind of annoying. I think the only really good application I can think of right now is with Svalna. So like you'll always play the Svalna thing and it'll always cost one every turn at the start, which is kind of nice. Because 3 mana is pretty hefty to have to pay, but yeah, in general, I think the card's a bit overhyped. I think I've seen a lot of people being like, "Oh, one of the best cards of the expansion," and I mean it's okay, but I don't think it's that amazing. I'll give it a 3. It's playable, but it's not absurd. I don't think.
That is some decent logic there, Neji. I don't know why you got to go like putting some good logic into things.
Yeah, honestly, I'll just give it a 6 for the culture.
Yeah, that's right. But it's a boy
Too much
band
logic.
with a troll and a naga. I mean, you gotta rate it for that. It's amazing. Uh, I don't know. I think yeah. I'm not putting it up at like a 6. I just have it as a 4. But I do think it will be powerful in decks that it's played in for sure.
Yo, I'm back. Done with Priest yet?
Yo,
Oh,
Almost. We're
unlucky.
no,
speedrunning
you
it. We're
know,
close.
yeah. We
Okay, Ron, what do you think of this
we
card?
didn't want to be finished
Uh,
without you.
oh yeah, this card's crazy. This card's like good for Svalna, right? And maybe fine in other priest decks. The downside is like when you stop playing spells, it's gone, and I'm not sure that it fits in everything. So it seems like it's right in the middle of the road, right? Key support, strong, 3.
Yes, he knows. Yeah, I feel like this card's mega
Yeah.
overhyped. Everyone's like, this card's absurd. I don't think it's that good.
I mean, it's
I
kind
think
of
the four
nutty
is
for Svalna Priest though, but it's not
yeah.
even like even then it's still kind of weird because you don't actually really go off with it till like turn 8, right? Because you don't want to play this before you play Svalna, because when you play Svalna,
Mhm.
uh, the effect goes away. You can't just play this beforehand and then play Svalna on 6. You'd need to also, I guess, play a 2 mana spell or less on the same time so that it's 0, so you keep it rolling. Otherwise, you have to wait for Svalna on 6 and then this on 7. But this was your first spell on 7, so then you're not doing the thing until 8. It's not that powerful.
Yeah, I think that's the thing that people are not really taking into account. It's like infinite discount, but not really. It's only infinite discount if you have Svalna. Like otherwise, it is not that easy to play a spell every turn. You don't want to just jam board clears just to keep this going. So yeah, for Svalna, it's good, and otherwise, I don't think it's that powerful.
Yeah. I think this is just the card that needed to exist in order for Svalna to still exist with Radiant being gone.
Well, let's go on to the next one. Shadow Chord Distort. It's a 3 mana shadow spell. Give a minion -5/-5. If it has 0 attack, destroy it. This one is really cool. I like this one a lot. I think it's also pretty solid. I'm gonna give it a 4. I like the fact that it's a shadow spell. So if you like do want to, you could use this as like a little bit of help in the shadow deck. But just the mechanic of if it has 0 attack, you destroy it seems like a really cool tool for priest. Whereas, most of the time you can only kill a minion by killing off its health or using like poison or some sort of other big, AoE effect or something. But I think it's neat.
Is Light It Burn still in standard?
Yes, I think so.
Oh yeah, that was Nathri, I think. Okay. I feel like Light It Burns is just better most of the time, specific because one. Um, but the effect's definitely not bad. Most minions in standard, I feel like, are besides. We're not talking about Rogue. Rogue is a fake class. We don't talk about them. But besides Rogue, most minions are like 5/5s usually. So, I mean, even if something has 5 attack and more health, well, then it's a 0 attack minion that just sits on the board now. That's kind of annoying too. But just in general, I feel this usually kills a thing, or at least makes it unusable, which is pretty good. I'll give it a 3.
Yeah, it seems fine. I I'm not like really all that sold on it overall. I kind of feel like this is a 2. It's getting a 2 for me because I just feel like we have better removal spells in general. I kind of read this more as like 3 mana deal 5 damage to a minion. because you're probably using this to kill a minion, and I feel like we just have better ways as priests to do that generally. Like Lighted Burns especially is so much better. It's okay. You know, maybe you have to run this, but I'm not impressed.
All right,
It's
I'll
a
do it.
it's a cool effect though. Like the fact that it's -5/-5. Like that's not a thing that we see very often in Hearthstone. And if we had something else that could reduce the attack of a minion, this would be a lot better, but we don't have that, right?
Yeah, I like the name. Instead of Shadow Word, Shadow Chord.
Yes.
Is the flip stats minion still something that exists? The 2/2
I don't think so.
crazed alchemist from like forever ago? I
I
don't
think
know.
that thing's
Just
been
No.
gone.
Yeah.
this doesn't seem all that good.
And next
I'm
up,
also a priest hater though, so I might underrate
there
all
you
those
go.
cards.
Just rate them all terribly.
Just FYI.
Don't worry, they were all bad
That's
before that one.
yeah, yeah.
Nice.
Okay. Fight over me. We have 4 mana shadow spell. Choose 2 enemy minions. They fight. Add copies of any that die to your hand. I don't like it that much. I'm giving it a 2 because maybe there's a case for it, but like I feel like it's situational too. If you want to get the copies to your hand, you probably want them to be a little bit better of minions. So you want this to be a little bit later game, but if you're against like an aggressive deck, you don't want to pay 4 mana to have like 2 1/1s attack each other or something. And if the stats aren't great on the minions and they attack each other, they might not even die. Like it's just I don't know. It's weird. I don't know how I feel about it. So I'm just giving it a 2.
Yeah, I feel like this is actually one of the worst cards I've seen in the set. I just can't imagine myself ever playing this. Choose 2 enemy minions they fight, which means they only get one like smack into each other, so sometimes they don't even die. And if you're playing a priest deck like this, you just don't care about getting their like minions in your hand. It's just like junk. I don't know. It's like a really bad board clear that doesn't work all the time, and it costs 4 mana for no reason. So yeah, I'll give this a 1. Can't imagine this is any good.
We used to have this card, and it was called Hysteria, and it was really good. And it was way better than this for the exact same mana cost. This is garbage. This is a 1. I don't think this is good at all. Like it's way too conditional to be useful. There's gonna be some moments maybe where this feels broken because your opponent had like exactly 2 minions that were similarly statted, and then you get copies of those and then you can play them. But most of the time it's not gonna be like good enough for the cost, like not even close, and you're gonna fall way too far behind. I think this is terrible.
All right, fine. All right. I went down to a 1 as well. Y'all convinced me. I yeah, Jammies is saying it's nice to discover. I do agree. And some of these that are like you never want to play them, but maybe discovering it is an option. But at least if you're discovering it, it's kind of eliminates that situational feel because if it's a discover and you don't have the situation to play this, you just don't take it, right? Or if you need it and it pops up in your discover, you can take it. But I don't know. It's playing it just in your deck feels awful.
You know when a card is only good as when it's discovered, you know it's a 1.
Yeah. All right. Potentially last one. Here we go. Is the Heartbreaker Hadanis? Is that how it's pronounced? Hadanis?
Heartbreaker, probably Hidanis, yeah.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
I think we have the new hero skin in the game already, and I've heard it, but I forgot how to say it. So he is a 4 mana, 4/8 minion with Battle Cry. Deal 4 damage to this minion. Overheal, deal 5 damage to a random enemy. That's a pretty cool effect. I mean, the overheal dealing 5, definitely, it reminds me of the Dragonbane. Except for that you could play a spell and it'll overheal. but every time you overheal this, you'd get that effect, right? So it's not just based on like once per turn hero power. I think this is kind of sweet. I want this to be good so bad. I'm giving it a 4.
Is Flash Heal still in standard?
Yeah.
That's like the only good combo with it, right?
Yeah, it's actually I just can't imagine playing this. Like there's just no healing cards. If you have the location and you location this, it doesn't even overheal it. You need the hero powered as well to just trigger it once. Dealing the
Yeah,
4 to this is omega sad. I just don't understand this card. There's just no support. They didn't print any healing. It's just not gonna work, I feel like. I'm giving it a 1. We're playing
yeah.
Shadow Priest.
Dragon Rider, I think you're coping on this one.
I know I
It's
am.
it's a cool idea.
I'm sorry.
I'm
I think
aware.
they just like they needed it to deal 2
The
damage to
devs are
this
not
minion.
aware.
Like it had to be deal 2 so that at least the
But,
hero power didn't overheal it to like make it broken. It needed some extra thing, but
yeah.
that's a lot. Like that's so much that you have to spend heal 5 on this card just to get it 1 point over to finally hit the overheal to deal 5 to a random enemy. Oh my god. I don't know. I kind of wanted to give it a 2, but no, it's a 1. Honestly, this is making me kind of happy. The priest is getting like multiple 1s. Like, let's go.
This
I
is
yeah. For what it's worth, I like Overheal as a mechanic. I think it's interesting that now you can just use your hero power on minions to get an effect, and that's cool, but like there's no support for it at all right now.
Yeah,
yeah.
this card is not it.
Right.
Maybe it could be good in a couple sets or
Yeah.
something.
Yeah, and you know, this I feel like we've seen that a lot every time they introduce a mechanic, right? Like sometimes it's like, wow, this is just garbage. And then after other cards come out, you're like, oh, okay, now it has a little bit more support or whatever. But they have to have really good cards in the first set of a mechanic for them to really be good, or some
Yeah.
really good support. And yeah, we're seeing it in chat too. Like there's just not really quite the same support that you would really want with these, but we'll see. Overheal is an evergreen mechanic that's for priests, so I'm sure there's going to be something in the future.
Well, hold on. Can you res this card? Because
It's
if you
not
res this
undead.
card, it comes back as full health.
Yeah, as a 4/8. Yeah, I mean, if there's
I
something
don't
that
know
just
if there is.
Yeah.
There,
All the
yeah,
undead,
I don't
all
know
the
if there
res cards
is.
are undead. Like
Yeah.
they even added
Yeah.
Katrina to
they
the core set
did.
and changed it to say
Yeah.
undead.
So like I
So
don't think there
Yeah.
is right now, but if there is in the
Maybe-
future,
Maybe if this card was undead, maybe in a future set. I will say though that if you are able to somehow make it to the point where you're not just completely losing the game because you had to spend a lot to get this card to full health, once this card is at full health and you have multiple ways to start sinking in healing to it, it goes off like a 5 damage machine gun, which is kind of terrifying. So this card
Yes.
could be insanely good,
yeah.
but I think for right now it's bad.
I'll say it.
Agreed.
The devs were too scared to put Circle of Healing in the core set. I would have loved to see it.
Oh,
Actually make Overheal interesting, but nope. Unlucky.
yeah, we'll see.
Red Priest. You still have Shadow Priest. They gave you Benedictus. You can play
That's
a little,
true.
but not much.
Yeah. All right. Well, let's look at
Well,
the.
also, isn't it just like Priest is always bad in the 4 set meta, and it's like good in the 6 set meta?
Unless it's
And-
Baron's Priest.
Yeah, true.
I just want Dragon
Alright, yeah.
Priest back.
Same.
Truth.
All right. So yeah, then we have a harmonic spell here for Priest. Harmonic Pop. It's a 6 mana holy spell. Deal 3 damage to all minions. Summon a 6/6 pop star. Swaps each turn. So then the dissonant one is the still 6 mana holy spell, and it deals 6 to all minions and summons a 3/3 pop star. This one is really interesting. I'm giving it just a 2. I think right now, like the cool thing is you get the body behind it. But in terms of dealing the damage to all minions, I think at least I feel like Clean the Scene is just kind of better, and you don't have to wait for the the alternating turn to get whichever one you want.
Yeah, the card is really good on one of the sides, the one that
Yeah.
like actually AoEs the board for 6.
Right.
But yeah, it's kind of awkward that you might want the 6 or might really need the 6, and this will be on 3. I don't know. It's a good board clear, but it's I like Flying Kraken was saying earlier. I just don't really like the swaps each turn. It's kind of you can't really set up for it. I don't know. It's just not a great mechanic in my opinion. I'll give this a 2 as well.
Yeah, I also decided on 2 on this one. The harmonic dissonant effect. I actually that was the other side of you either get soloist or you get harmonic or dissonant, right?
Yeah.
Maybe
They all are kind of
that
bad.
makes
So at
sense.
first I felt bad for the soloist classes, but now I don't because um, all of the harmonic dissonance they're bad and the soloists are bad. So it's fine.
Oh.
This is 2. This is fringe. It might be really good or it might be really frustrating. Oh, if only I had the other one. And
Yeah.
now I lose because it's this one. Yikes.